Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me for some more Gravely stuff. Last couple days I've had a chance to mess around with this thing a little bit. I went ahead and I dialed back the RPM as far as I can tell and went around and mowed the grass. I've probably mowed this thing for about an hour now, and so far it seems okay. If you'll remember our test drive, we overheated a little bit, started sputtering, and it was super hot right around in this area. Now, you'll see that my exhaust is here, but I don't think that's necessarily the problem. I got a couple of ideas where we might have gone wrong. We're going to take this thing apart and see what's going on. Once I dialed this thing back, I was able to feel this thing after we'd been running for maybe like 20 minutes, and it was like, you know, it was maybe hot to the touch. I don't have like a temperature that I could get, but you know, this was hot and really uncomfortable to the touch. Right around here, it was like hot, warm, you know, maybe car hood on a hot day, kind of hot, but not too bad. And then the clutch up front, it was just a little bit warm. So if anyone can confirm with their stock Gravely motor, what kind of temperature do you see around here? Is it hot to the touch? Maybe this is a non-issue, but either way, I think it's going to be worthwhile to take this thing apart after mowing for about an hour and see what kind of issues we got. Maybe, you know, maybe there's no issues at all. Right around here, there's a little bit of gear spalling, which is not a good sign. It's a sign that we're in crooked. Also, that could have been from just the overheat. Can't really peek in there too well and see the planetary, so we're gonna take it out and eyeball it. This also looks a little bit heat marked, but this was a brass bushing. I expect when it heated up, it probably... So, the marking here, not a big deal. The gear spalling, it's a little bit more concerning. Also, got a bit of glitter. Someone's machining gears in here. Uh-oh. Oh, that sucks. Not a great start. Well, that's everything. Come to Papa. More glitter. Yum, 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 yum. All right, let's yank these things' guts out. Here's our spacer. We're gonna need that. And let's just poop this thing out. Well, I was worried I might have had this on backwards. Now, someone online said there is a bushing behind this that might have come undone. Let's see. Oh no, I guess not. Oh, it's very dark. Huh, well those absolutely should spin freely. And before you go around saying that this big old machine mark is what caused it, that was there before. Well, I think I know where our heat came from and what bound this brass bearing up. It looks like that bolt sticks a little too far in, and it's been machining itself a new little home. That's unfortunate, but at least that's easily fixable. I am going to go mess around with some stuff on the bench and see how all of our tolerances stack up. All right, I think a lot of that spalling is due to this pressing on that shaft that I pointed out, but we'll see how crooked we are. It does look a little crooked. I had to put some plates in here because that was the best way that it worked. All right, that's like, we're going backwards. So 1 3/16. It's a little off. So it looks like I'm off enough in there to have machined a... I don't know if you can see it or hear it, but I machined a groove into this bushing, which would have also caused some of that heat. I'm disappointed. You know, when I put it together in the video, you might have seen that I just put the two plates, but I didn't try to do it cockeyed at first. I like spaced them out. Before I tried to check if I was bottomed out with gear marking compound, and I think that's a pretty solid strategy. So we're gonna do it again. We're gonna paint this up. I got everything stacked up the way it would be, and I'm going to plop them together and see if any of it transfers. All right, there's our spacer, just like how it would be. Now let's press, press, press. And should have left a compelling mark. Well, there we go, the plot thickens. Okay, so what we're seeing here is consistent with what we did. There's marking here, and that's because I stuck two plates on this upper side, which pushed this forward, and this one is still the same. So the lower side of that juts out ever so tiny much and collides with that. Again, I understand what's going on in hindsight, but the strangest thing was until I shimmed it with the two plates on the upper side like that, it just didn't work at all. So I'm a bit at a loss, but I see what's going on now. We're gonna correct it. So the issue that we got going on is twofold. One, this pokes in too far and it touches the shaft on the other side. That's pretty easy. We can grind it. The second one is this plate is lopsided. It was lopsided intentionally because just by trial and error fit, that was what worked before. So we got to balance out the plates that we did, and then we'll get the measuring stick again and we'll relocate and see what we got. There's a lot of metal in this thing. I don't think it's dead. I think most of it came from that shaft and probably that brass bushing. The absolute worst is I might need another high-low planetary. I did check it a little bit. There is some spalling on that one, but because it had 3 larger gears versus this one's 1 small gear, the spalling is very minimal. So if I could save the bushing, I think I can rebuild this and fix all my issues. Can anyone tell me what's wrong with that picture? That's right, this is supposed to rotate. So I think as a combination of all the more machining, brass. So I think as a combination of all the problems that we had before, this got hot, swelled up in its this swelled up in its brass bushing, and now it's lock solid in there. You can move it, but it's tough. This should spin freely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it apart and we're gonna just lap down that brass bushing with some like 1000 grit sandpaper. So if you're gonna do something like this, oh boy, that's on there. These are reverse thread.
Warning, this is future me speaking. Past me is about to screw the pooch up big time. So for this planetary gear set, these things are timed. You can't just pull out these gears and reassemble them any kind. There is a specific way they have to go. If you are doing this before you proceed any further, you must mark the gears, or you're going to be spending 3 hours trying to find the perfect way to align them. You have been warned.
All right, we are now going to gently remove this sleeve. Whee! Well, we can once again move this bad boy by hand. Fixed what we broke. Now we just got to figure out how to not break it in the first place. All right, choo-choo, over we go. Got some more valve marking on that bad boy. Ugh. Now kiss. Now kiss. So after much fiddling, I got it. This plate, which I thought was thick enough, is not. So when I was tightening everything down, it was starting to get a little bent. So that was just enough to get me off. So what I did was I took some nuts, like right there, and I backspaced it. And that's been doing pretty good so far. Unfortunately, it leaks. You can see there I got this pan catching it. My doo-doo welds were doo-doo. Who'd have thought? Our chances to mess around with this are pretty much at the end. We got snow in the forecast, so even though it leaks, it runs. And hey, that's good enough for me. So while we got the mower on the end, let's go for the last mow of the season before we switch into snowblower mode. All right, let's get this bad boy fired up. Turn it from stop to on. Go to the start position. Stick that in there. All right, it's a little cold. Let's see if she goes. It's billowing pretty hard. That fuel in there has been there since the rebuild, so it's a little skunky. But let's get to mowing. With the governor before it had a throttle, so it might be a little messed up. That's why you hear it surging. Also skunky fuel. Okay, it's not hot. We mowed for about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. I don't know, didn't really leak anything noticeable. few things you may have figured out. You noticed that the engine was surging. I messed around with this throttle assembly a little bit. Before, it used to be the generator type, which had an on set RPM and off. I tried to drop the RPM down to what it sounded like 2600. But now that I have this throttle cable, I think it's got things out of whack. I do have a tachometer. I'm gonna plug the magnetic pickup tachometer into this thing, and then we'll get all that RPM stuff sorted out, and that won't be too bad. If you remember, what killed this thing last time is this clutch like overheated, and it ate the brass. Totally nice to the touch now, but honestly, so is the engine. You can pretty much touch anywhere on the engine, and it's fine. It feels pretty hot, but that's just because it's cold. It's probably not even above 100 anywhere. So there we go. There is our diesel Repower. I think we got most of the kinks ironed out. From now on, it's just going to be tuning it. So next time we work on it, we're going to get ready for winter. I think this thing would do really well to have like a heater pad, kind of like a battery heater pad underneath. I think that would go a long way to getting it heated up in a decent amount of time. I'm going to stick a glow plug in this thing. It doesn't have a glow plug now. It took like 5 pulls to get it going. So I'm going to do a glow plug. You might have realized I got these things dangling over here. These are hand warmers. We're going to throw some hand warmers on it, wire those up, so we're nice and comfortable while we blow. And this right here is a starter. So hopefully we'll be able to turn this thing over just with glow plug, starter, bam. And also because this is New York and seasons are wacky, so it's probably going to be dark anytime we're using the snowblower, and I'm messing with an electrical system, so hey, why not? We'll throw on some headlights too. But that's for next time. For now, I'm pretty happy with the way this thing turned out, and I think she's ready, just about ready, for winter. Take it easy and have a good one. Shoots.